Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Books, Scripts, and Purrs. My name's Leslie, and you are in our spoiler corner. All right, so we're going to discuss Fabled Passages by Margaret Bernard, published in 2022 as a short story collection. It's I found it like on Kindle edition, so it's like an ebook. It's less than 100 pages. It was a real delight to read. Um, I've been reading so many heavy nonfiction books, and so I wouldn't necessarily just say this is escape. This wasn't an escape. It was still in my wheelhouse of the type of material that I read, but there's something about short stories or anthologies that I really love, and I think they give me, um, in a way, like a sense of accomplishment in a short period of time, especially if I'm either feeling overwhelmed or feel like I'm in a reading slump. Short stories and anthologies always really help me like curb that. But beyond that, and my experiences mentally on BookTube and in life, I enjoy this book because it's speculative fiction. I don't know if I've really read too many genres or that are like listed in the speculative fiction. I might have read like one anthology not too long ago that mixed that with sci-fi. So I'm gonna just kind of quickly go through this because this is a short story collection that's under 100 pages. So I'll just kind of run through these. The first short story is Cursed Siblings. It almost feels like I can't tell. I guess that's where the speculative portion comes in. It feels like a little sci-fi, a little fantasy, a little bit of historical fiction, all meshed with a female protagonist, but also involved. I guess it would be more like God's sense of mythology. There's just a lot going on in that one short story that I didn't enjoy, and not just that one, but in a couple of other ones, I'll point out. The author has a knack for dialogue that feels like the characters are from another time, but it feels realistic. There's a romance book I read recently, which I genuinely did enjoy. It's called A Highlander for Hana. Um, but there's a character that's, a Highlander, that's from a time, um, and it's meant to be historical. And I didn't always like the dialogue that the author wrote for that character. It was just like certain words they kept repeating, and it felt like it would take me out of the experience. And so that's what I'm talking about, dialogue and the melody of it for these historical questions that we bump up against um, in the short story collection by Margaret Bernard. Uh, I'm going to jump around. There's the second short story called Cosmo at the Crossroads, which has a point of view from a dog. And then the last is called Sticky Tribute. It's it's a short story from a spider's point of view. I really like both of those. They're very like cute, sweet, and also felt like I don't know, like I'm reading from a perspective I don't always read from. Uh, but those two felt like they belonged in a different collection. Also, I've read a couple of like cozy reads recently. So when I was reading those two short stories, I kept thinking about the cozy reading genre and how I think I would have liked if that would have been put like in a separate um, collection filled with that. But this is me being fantastical. There's a short story called A Devon Pixie. It's from a male point of view, and it's about modern time in the hinterlands, and a time traveler appears from a different time period, and how they deal with that. And I really enjoyed that. And something that I really appreciated about that story was that it didn't involve romance. and that romance did not need to be included to resolve the issue. And so I think I was kind of looking out for that, and that didn't happen, which I really appreciated. Um, yeah, that I'm trying not to I'm trying not to give everything away. There's also a short story collection called The Photograph that I really appreciated. There's LGBTQ representation. But in that short story, I think I just wanted a little more dialogue. There's one of the characters that's no longer there. They passed away, but I think I just wanted maybe more of like a memory of that character, if that makes any sense. I don't know. That was kind of like on my mind. And there's also Sign of Her Trade, which is a female point of view from a witch who plans revenge. And I don't know why that one just puts a smile on my face. It was a delight to read, and I don't know, it felt like very badass story to read. All right, so the sixth short story is Stitch in Time. It's from a male point of view. Um, it definitely fell in line with the type of work I read, whether it's fiction or nonfiction. And well, it's a spoiler chat, so let's go there. Basically, there's a character that keeps getting pulled in time, and they're not sure why. And I really love this. By the time I was like almost towards the end, I really understood where the story was going, which is that sometimes people do things in life, and they look back, and it might be something like, for this character, it was something from childhood, and they remember it, and they're kind of like, yeah, that was really wrong. And the story is about how an incident occurs, and if you just look at it like isolated, it's bad, but it's kind of like that moment in time is actually a reflection of like systemic issues in past and present. And the character being pulled in time is them putting the pieces together and realizing, hey, you know what, I need to make like a shift. And I appreciated that story because in life, I guess at least I'll speak for myself, that sometimes it feels like the world's on fire and I'm only one person, and it's like it could just feel really daunting to not know what to do. And so I do focus now on learning a lot more, and kind of feel like, well, what's within my grasp that I could do that doesn't feel like so huge, if that makes any sense. I feel like I'm being kind of vague in a spoiler chat, but that's how I felt about that short story. It was about someone looking back, taking an accountability, and finding maybe that baby step um, to move forward, to navigate life differently because of it. I really like that short story, and I appreciated what the author was doing there. There's also a short story called Sometime in Paradox, which I really liked. And I would just say that I actually felt uh, a sense of urgency when reading that story, and that there is something bubbling up underneath. That there is this uh, bigger on the verge potential for rebellion going on, and I just like how the author captured it, and actually where the story landed was pretty wild. Um, and I think that's it. I already talked about the last one, which is Sticky Tribute, which is from the spider's point of view. Yeah, I just think I enjoy the ones that were about a mixing of like adventure, history, and social justice, social injustices. So that was basically up my alley, and I enjoyed it because I've been reading a lot of nonfiction reads. I think I don't know what day it is anymore, but I just felt like I appreciated stepping into these like little worlds um, that navigate speculative fiction, but still within the type of content I guess I would say I like to read about. So yeah, I like that. That's about all I have to say about that. It's a short story, so this isn't very long. So that's it for my review of Fabled Passages. If you're interested, pick up a copy, 4 pers all the way, and I'll talk